We can trade with Europe, we can talk to Europe, but we mustn't be governed by Europe. That's what this is about. That's why I'm with UKIP. So that's what UKIP have been principally known for, is the one party that says, we will say to you, the British people, do you want to stay in this? We will have the referendum, and I think all the other party leaders know perfectly well that the majority of people, I'm not saying it's 95% in this country, the majority of people in this country will say, we want out.
There'll be many up-and-coming musicians and singers who are looking forward to grab their opportunity and entertain the masses this weekend in Godiva. And there's, I feel for the folk who have an interest in seeking out and encouraging local talent, and they've all worked hard to ensure such talent is going to be seen and heard, and of course that's now not going to happen.
I was in a newsagent a few months ago, just after the local elections. I purchased a newspaper, and this involved a little bit of small talk with a lady behind the counter. I left the shop, and this lady comes out going, "Gooey, excuse me. Hope you don't mind me asking, but are you Mark?" A bit surprised, I say, "Yes." She then explained she recognised my voice from the local radio, and that I'd helped her to decide who to vote for in local elections. "I voted for you," she said, and I asked, "Why?" "Well, you were talking about the IMF fund. You said we pay billions into that fund, and those funds are used to help bail out other European countries." "Yes." "I didn't realise we gave so much to Europe," she said. "I'm not having it." And she stormed off.
Salim, stay with us, because we've got a representative from UKIP and a representative from Labour now. Mark Taylor is chair of UKIP in Coventry. Good morning, Mark.
Yes, good morning, Rachel.
Are you pandering to people's fears?
Not at all. We in Coventry, we've had quite a few people coming to us recently, mainly the elderly who are in rented accommodation. And they're telling me, I've witnessed a lady in front of me in tears over this, telling me that their local housing association is telling them that they might, note that, might be moved out of their rented accommodation in the near future. This is linked to the bedroom tax issue, because the council is desperately looking for homes to accommodate some immigrants, in particular an influx of the Roma community, who we know are coming to Coventry in the next few months. The whole Labour project, perhaps seen by many over years as a party that may be speaking up for the poor, has lost its credibility. A party political slug that slowly moves across the lawn, leaving a trail of bad debt.
How long have you been a member of the Conservative Party?
I haven't been a member of the Conservative Party. No, I'm with UKIP.
This programme is helpful because this is educating, hopefully, people in realising the consequences, again, of being part of the European Union. We've lost our ability as a country to keep our system that we've had for years.
I wish you four were heading up our country. There you go. There's somebody there.
5 million against and 2 for.
A Coventry politician who's opposing plans for a high-speed railway near the city says the meeting people behind the scenes has failed to change his mind. One-time parliamentary hopeful Mark Taylor went to yesterday's HS2 Information Day in Kenilworth. HS2 Limited says it's committed to talking to all the people affected by the line, but Mr Taylor says we still don't know how the project will affect them.
People have gone away thinking we don't know much more, and they're very disappointed in the response they've heard. In a sense, HS2 have shot themselves in the foot. We need to be encouraging more people to join the police force, and that should be done by giving them more money, because we're not going to help people to come forward to the police force by cutting salaries. Regulation A19, where we're throwing away experienced officers. There's a more general issue there.
There is. Thank you all very much indeed for taking part. Thank you.
Yes, hello, Juliet and Nigel. I have to say, I feel like one of those little aliens. If anybody can remember one of the old TV adverts where we had certain aliens who were chuckling away at a certain smashed potato product. And I feel like that when it comes to the EU.
It's a lovely image, Mark.
Yeah, the idea that the EU are instigators of peace. You know, you only have to scan any European satellite channel, doesn't matter, Euronews, Russia TV, Press TV, you see the turmoil, the riots.
Now UKIP policy is we have the flat tax policy. We say if people go back to work, you should be allowed to earn more before you pay tax. It's 11,500 is the level we think is appropriate. We've got to break that threshold where benefits and working just give you the same result. Yeah. And in some cases, we know of people, I'm sure you do as well, who are actually better off on benefits. We've got to change that culture. And it is a fact, it may be very uncomfortable to acknowledge this, it is a fact that some people have no intention of working. There may be the minority, but there are some, and we've got to say to them, make them work.
And within 10 or 15 seconds, he started shouting at me very loudly, and it was like he was staring through me, and he said, "You will do this now, you will sort it out." And to my amazement, he picked up from the settee that he was sitting on a dagger, a 9-inch dagger, something like that, and he just lobbed it at me with considerable force. Unfortunately for me, I had with me a metal toolkit, and perhaps in desperation, I held it up in front of my face, and that dagger hit that toolkit. I could still remember seeing a slight spark, and the dagger just fired off and embedded itself into the wall of the lounge. So, believe me, you never, I mean, obviously 99% of the time you meet rational, normal people, but then all of a sudden something like that happens.
And I believe folk are very welcoming towards folk from other countries. But when they see people from other countries being given more, they rightly ask why this unfairness is being allowed to continue.
And it is an outrage, as far as I'm concerned, that from the 1st of January next year, people in unlimited numbers from Bulgaria and Romania can come to this country and within a very short space of time claim job seekers allowance, housing benefit, child benefit.
Anybody recall the private pension issue in the mid-80s when the government of the time was encouraging us to all have a private pension?
Oh, come out of SERPs and all that, yeah.
That's right, and for those who opted in, they were given a small incentive payment, and hordes of folk were misled by financial institutions into contracting out. And now, look what's happened. Statistically, we are told we would have all been far better if we'd remained opted in. We were lied to.
You're right, there's almost no institution that's not at some point been tarnished. Lloyd's of London and so on had their massive problems.
And I know this party will support those who are genuinely seeking employment, not forget them. I want to speak about a party that will keep us safe, a party that will maintain law and order, a party that will let our police do what they need to do, restore our armed services to a more appropriate level, not pay for India's navy.
Mark Taylor's the chair of Coventry's UKIP. He was there to show his support, and he told BBC Coventry Warwickshire's Rosie King how pleased he was.
Our candidates are all from a relatively new branch. They're very enthusiastic, and to achieve 5 second places and 3 thirds is super. It's a real good start, and they're all very pleased.
What do you put their success down to?
Their enthusiasm, their willingness to go in and engage with the local community in the wards where they're standing. Yes, there is the interest in the national issues. That's coming up on the doorstep. When you ask people what do they want to talk about, we give them that opportunity. It's often national issues: immigration, taxation, bedroom tax. There are some local issues coming up, but I have to say, from my point of view, it has been national issues more than local.
And there's a social worker there, and I was there a long time, and obviously I didn't mean to, but I heard the whole story, and it was this girl had she was in her mid-20s, 5 different children, 5 different fathers. Her reasons for staying there was because she wanted a house, she hated her mum and dad, and she just wanted more and more money. And I actually said to her, "What happened to the door?" And she said, "Well, my boyfriend was drunk and he kicked it down." And she said to the social worker, "You sort it." It was serious. But that is some people's lives. Self-respect, awareness of others, responsibility. It's all about rights, rights, rights.
I've also had a great email from Mark Taylor, who's the chair of Coventry UKIP, outlining some of his thoughts on all of this, and I'm delighted to say he joins us on the show this morning. Morning, Mark.
Yes, good morning, Shane.
Thanks for being with us. Thanks for the email as well. You made some interesting points, and we thought it'd be nice if we could have a chat with you about them.
Because I was going in almost on a daily basis at one point,
yeah.
There was a particular phase where, I'm sure people will know this, that the barriers were left up, and I was talking to one of the security guys there, very helpful, of course, and obviously those guys are very frustrated because they were trying to sort out car parking issues, it would appear. And this guy said, "We've left the barriers open because we're having so many problems with them continually not working, and there's a private company that comes out and maintains them." And having talked to the private company, I was very sad. His opinion was that it should be the hospital who should be doing the basic maintenance on such barriers. And it strikes me what I was falling into was in the middle of a crossfire between the hospital and the private company, arguing about who should maintain those barriers and ticket machines.
I want every decision about how this country is run to be made by elected representation in Westminster, not Europe, because I'm not European, I can't even say it right, I'm British. Just finally, all this, and obviously much more, is worth talking about. I say again, what we say is being heard and understood. please phone in and get the UKIP message heard. Thank you.